We'll have another check on news, traffic, and weather in 25 minutes.
Don't forget, you can get our news anytime, anywhere at cbsnewyork.com and at 1010 Wins on the AM radio. Thanks for watching. For the entire CBS 2 News team, I'm Maurice Dubois.
I'm Mary Calvi. The Early Show is next.
Primary day. Voters in more than half a dozen states head to the polls today, and all eyes are on Tea Party candidates looking for big upsets, including a key Senate race in Delaware. We'll speak with the woman at the center of the contest. Pipeline power. New pictures of that deadly gas explosion in the Bay Area reveal just how devastating it was, and now authorities are worrying about the safety of other pipelines all around the country. And football scandal. A female reporter covering the New York Jets claims she was harassed on the field and in the locker room as the team and the league open an investigation. She shares her story with us in the studio early this Tuesday morning, September 14th, 2010.
From CBS News, it's The Early Show. Live from Fifth Avenue in New York City.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm Erica Hill. Great to have you with us here on The Early Show.
Yes, it's a Tuesday. Beautiful day outside. I'm Harry Smith. But a lot of people looking at what's going out in the Atlantic. Already established Igor, right, is a Category 4. Julia is now a hurricane as well, as they're making their way westward through the Atlantic. We'll keep an eye on where they're heading. Igor, unfortunately, has got a real bead on Bermuda. Oof. And our Dave Price, Dr. Science himself, will be along in a few minutes to explain exactly where those storms are headed.
Dr. Science or Dr. Weather?
No,
a little bit of both. First, though, we turn to politics this morning. The Tea Party and voter anger. There are more primary elections today around the country, and Tea Party candidates are hoping to upset some more established Republicans. CBS News congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes is in Washington this morning with the latest. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, Erica. There are primaries in 7 states and D.C. today, but the one that everyone is watching is in Delaware, because who wins there could very well determine whether Republicans have a shot at taking control of the Senate.
It was a $250,000 pledge from the Tea Party Express that vaulted Republican Christine O'Donnell from dark horse to contender in the Delaware Senate primary.
There's a tidal wave coming in Delaware, and we're riding it, and my opponent is drowning in it.
Everyone thought her opponent would be a shoo-in. Mike Castle is a popular 9-term congressman and former Delaware governor, but the newest polls show them neck and neck.
So I think she's too extreme for Delaware.
O'Donnell, a former marketing consultant, has crusaded for abstinence and against porn, writing once that when a married person uses pornography, it compromises the spouse's purity.
If Christine O'Donnell wins the primary election, she's going to have a very difficult time winning in what is still a very blue, very Democratic state.
And that is why Republican leaders are putting all their muscle behind Castle.
She didn't pay thousands in income taxes. Had to be sued by a university for thousands in unpaid bills.
O'Donnell is hoping to even the score with a late endorsement from Sarah Palin, who's also recording robocalls for her.
Christine will help usher in the real change that we need to get America on the right track.
The stakes are so high in Delaware because Republicans must win this special election for Vice President Biden's former seat if they want a real chance to reclaim the Senate. They need to win 10 Senate seats to do that, and until recently, this seat in Delaware seemed like it was in the bag, Erica.
But no longer. CBS's Nancy Cordes joining us from Washington this morning. Nancy, thanks. And Republican U.S. Senate candidate Christine O'Donnell joins us this morning from outside a polling station in Wilmington, Delaware. Good to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, Erica. Thank you for having me.
As we just heard from Nancy, you have the support of Sarah Palin at this point. You have the support of the Tea Party Express. But Freedom Works, which is the group backed by Dick Armey, which has backed a number of Tea Party candidates, has not given you its support, saying that they see you as a weak candidate. They don't believe you can win in a general election. But as Nancy noted, some of those polls showing you creeping up. Why do you feel that you can not only win here, but also convince moderates and even some Democrats to vote for you come November?
You know, people didn't think that we would get this far in the primary either, and I think that that's a lazy way out to say that we can't win. We have a winning message that after the primary, we're going to take into the general election a message that resonates with independents and Democrats, because the people who are struggling economically, it doesn't go by party lines. Our message is that we need real economic growth based on the private sector. We need to create jobs by getting the government out of the way of the small business owner and the entrepreneur. We can't afford more of these big spending bills that my Republican and Democrat opponents support. Common sense men and women here in Delaware know that that's not sustainable. And I'm fortunate because my opponent he can't stand on his record, so he's resorted to character assassination, and it's backfired. It's really exciting that the voters are seeing right through that. They're tired of politics as usual, and they're rallying behind me because they trust me to represent them in Washington, a much-needed real change in Washington.
There's been some focus on both your experience, you've never held an elected office, and also some questions raised about your own financial history. It took 12 years for you to get your college degree because you hadn't paid off some loans. There was some leftover campaign debt. You mentioned the importance of finances and of the economy and of jobs. Can voters trust you then, someone who has had financial trouble?
Absolutely. Erica, thank you for this opportunity to clear the record. All of those accusations are addressed on my website, Christine2010.com. And when the question of financial responsibility comes into question, you have to look at how I handled those financial difficulties. I'm an average, hardworking American. I'm not a multimillionaire like my opponent. Of course, in this economy, I've fallen on hard times. But I worked hard, I sacrificed, I made the decision that I needed to make things right. I came through to the other side in a very strong position. I made it through the difficult times. That's what the voters are seeing. Financial responsibility is making your obligations right. My opponent has cashed a government paycheck, a taxpayer-funded government paycheck, for over 4 decades. So when he makes those accusations that that's irresponsible because someone has struggled, he's insulting the voters. And I think that's where the backlash has come from. And that's why so many former people who once supported my opponent are now on my side, because it's this obnoxious sense of entitlement that this position should be handed to the next anointed king.
I want to take a look. I want to take a look at your support before you let you go. You've had some endorsements from outside the state of Delaware. Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina has endorsed you. We mentioned Sarah Palin. How much of your funding, though, how much of your volunteer staff is actually coming from within the state of Delaware? There's been some criticism that too much of it is a national, not a local level.
Well, we have an army of volunteers that have given us the strength we need to get the national attention. And my opponent, over about 70% of his donations come from out-of-state corporate special interest PACs.
Why do you feel that national attention is so important to this race for the state of Delaware? Why do you need it?
Well, for us, we're relying on the grassroots support. We are not a party apparatus. So when Palin and DeMint and Sean Hannity and others have come in and gotten behind our grassroots effort, it was a vote of confidence for we the people and a vote against the politics of personal destruction. So what they were saying was, enough is enough. This election, the focus of this election should be how we're going to get private sector jobs back in Delaware, how we're going to defend the security of our homeland, how we're going to take care of our veterans. When the national support came in, it was saying enough is enough. Let's talk about the real issues.
Okay,
and that excited our war-weary troops who have gotten us this far.
We'll have to leave it there. We'll be watching the results. Christine O'Donnell, thanks. Harry?
All right, Erica, the Bay Area gas explosion that killed at least 4 people is causing worries about gas pipelines around the country. One pipeline safety expert says, quote, if this was air travel we were talking about, I wouldn't get on an airplane. And the latest images from Thursday's explosion show just how horrible it really was. Priya David Clemens is at the scene in San Bruno, California. She has the latest. Priya, good morning.
Harry, good morning. That's right. We're getting our first look at some of the cell phone video and surveillance video from the blast that leveled this neighborhood on Thursday evening. And some of the images you're going to see in a few seconds are jarring. Pacific Gas and Electric, which is the company that owns the pipeline, has pledged $100 million towards the recovery effort. But the residents here are facing not just a financial toll, but an emotional one as well. New images are now emerging. Cell phone video that capture the sudden, violent nightmare on the ground.
I don't want nobody to go through. I mean, I thought we're having an earthquake, but I go, it's worse than an earthquake.
It looked like an earthquake from this surveillance video at a San Bruno convenience store. Customers fall to the ground, some diving for cover.
I opened the front door and I saw that flame, and that was it.
residents of San Bruno had little time to react. In an instant, at least 4 people died and 37 homes were burned to the ground.
But I can't get that roaring sound out of my mind and that big boom in the side of that enormous blast of fire.
This security video from a gas station shows just how quickly things went from normal to chaotic. Flames begin to fill the screen. What can't be seen is what residents felt.
The note of our house is off the foundation because that explosion was tremendous.
Massive.
I mean, the house just went like that.
Federal officials are now examining the section of pipe that ruptured and trying to determine how many other lines around the country could be at risk of a similar explosion. And here's an alarming number. There have been more than 3,000 gas pipeline accidents over the past 20 years. A third of them have resulted in major injuries or in death. So that's why federal officials are so concerned to find out what happened here, to see if there are steps that need to be taken in other sections of pipeline throughout the country. Harry.
Priya, David Clemens in San Bruno, California this morning. Thank you. Moments after the gas explosion, local resident Walter McCaffrey started shooting his own video of the flames, and he joins us as well from San Bruno. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Aaron.
Talk to me about what did you hear, what did you feel when this explosion happened?
I was downstairs in my bedroom and I was getting ready to go to my mother-in-law's for dinner, and I just heard this, it sounded like an aircraft taking off, and just the blast after that, and it knocked me to the floor, and I started running up to make sure my wife and kids were out. They had already left maybe 10, 15 minutes earlier, so I was just running around the house just to make sure they were out of the house, and I started calling 911. I couldn't get through, and I just was trying to get a hold of my wife to make sure she doesn't come back for me.
Right.
And that's when I ran out and I started taking video of the big fireball.
Could you feel the heat from the flames? I mean, this is just right outside your house, right?
Right. It wasn't even a minute, and I couldn't even open my sliding door anymore to get out to the deck.
Because it was so hot.
And
wow.
It was so hot, and I couldn't get out because there's a couple of ways to get out to my deck, and I couldn't get out to the deck because everything was just so hot.
Right. Did you think you were...
And when I finally got out...
Right. Were you trapped in your house? Or how did you finally escape?
No, I wasn't. I actually ran out and I checked on my neighbors, and I ran back in to get my dog. And that's when I had access out to the deck, and that's when I started videotaping, and you could probably hear me yelling for my dog on the footage.
Yeah. Did you get your dog?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I got him out, and fire crews were already out there maybe in 5 minutes, and they're already telling us to report to Lunardi's.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Did you ever smell gas in the neighborhood, and did you ever give a second's thought to the fact that there might be a natural gas pipeline literally running right underneath your neighborhood?
No, I never smelled gas, and I just thought my initial thought was it was a plane crash.
Wow.
And I was even yelling down at my neighbors and asking them, was that a plane crash? It's when I got to my mother-in-law's, I saw news reports that, it could be a gas line that blew up. So
you have a good story to tell, in that you're able to actually move back into your house. Glad everybody in your household is safe and sound. And Walter McCaffrey, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us this morning. We do appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, Harry.
All right, be well.
Thank you.
All righty.
We do want to get to a few more headlines for you this morning. Jeff Glore is standing by at the news desk. Jeff, good morning.
Erica, good morning to you, and good morning, everyone. The latest round of Mideast peace talks is underway this morning in Egypt. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas are being joined by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. At the top of the agenda today, Israel's freeze on construction of Jewish settlements on the West Bank, which is set to expire this month. It appears there's been another snag in the release of an American hiker held by Iran. The Iranians say they'll release Sarah Short in exchange for $500,000 bail. Her family, though, is having a hard time raising the money and wants the bail reduced. But the whole process is being complicated by Iranian government infighting right now. Short and two fellow hikers have been held by Iran for more than a year. The biggest wildfire in northern Colorado is fully contained this morning. That blaze near Boulder burned at least 166 homes before it was brought under control. A second smaller fire near Loveland is only about 25% contained at this point. Officials say the Boulder fire started with a controlled burn of brush that wasn't completely extinguished. The man responsible is a firefighter who lost his own home to that wildfire. Scientists say they know where a lot of the oil from the BP spill went. The bottom. Using deep-sea robots, scientists found patches of oil up to 2 inches thick on the sea floor. That oil was up to 80 miles from the blown-out well. Dead shrimp and other sea life were found under that dense layer of oil. And Rafael Nadal of Spain has completed his career Grand Slam. In a rain-delayed men's final, Nadal defeated Novak Djokovic of Serbia in 4 sets last night for Nadal's first U.S. Open title. He fell to the ground after. That makes Nadal only the 7th man to win all 4 of the world's Grand Slam tennis tournaments. An impressive display from Nadal last night. Overpowering at times. Not as impressive as Dave Price's forecasting abilities. However, pretty good.
A little bit of a stretch, but we'll take it. Good morning to you, Jeff, and good morning, everyone. A lot to get to right now, so let's go to it. Igor, Julia, there they are in the Atlantic right now. This is a 3D computer model. Look how gorgeous this looks. As it begins to spin, you're going to see just in these last few frames the eye getting just a little bit wider from 17 to 25 miles per hour. That's actually a sign this is beginning to lose some of its strength. And as it continues to move up, it never got to that Category 5, still at a 4, but dangerous. Look at its path right now. Let's talk about it. Here is where we expect it to go. It's going to continue to move until it gets to early Sunday morning. Bermuda may get a real hit out of this. We're going to keep an eye on it because any movement to the right or the left, east or the west, will seriously affect the fate of people who live on that beautiful island. In the meantime, we have Julia. That is out, still 75-mile-per-hour winds. That means it's a Category 1. It'll stay at a 1 or a 2. Speed just about 12 miles per hour to the west-northwest. It continues to be no threat to land, most likely, taking a turn, staying out into the Atlantic. Meanwhile, in the U.S., it's really the midsection of the country that's going to see some serious thunderstorms today. East Coast is nice. New England's going to see a little bit of rain. West Coast looks good. High heat in the Southwest. That's a quick look, full look at our national maps. Here's an early look at what's going on in your area.
A beautiful day for us today after yesterday's stormy afternoon and evening. Well, the payoff. Tuesday, terrific, 79 your high. Still some pockets of fog out there, so you might want to leave a little extra time, particularly with elevation to the west of the city into the Hudson Valley, parts of Long Island as well. But in the city, a west wind helping to mix it into the atmosphere. Real nice day today. Dry front brings us a few clouds on Wednesday and some cooler numbers. And then later Thursday into early Friday, that's our next chance.
Watch for some rough conditions. Rapid City, Sioux Falls, Omaha, Cedar Rapids, Topeka as this system moves east today. More in just a little while. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Dave.
Still ahead this morning, scandal in the locker room. We'll talk to the female reporter who says she was harassed by some New York Jets.
Also, go see Oprah, win a trip to Australia. We're going to tell you where our audience is going this time. Oh, man. Who's in the cockpit? I wonder.
Ha. We need to get tickets to that show next time, Harry.
There aren't that many left.
No.
This is the early show on CBS.
Critics are wild about Alpha and Omega. It's charming, thrilling, and hilarious.
Quick, look behind you!
They will win your heart.
You know, we make a pretty good team.
Alpha and Omega 3D. Rated PG in 3D and 2D theaters Friday.
With the new Build Your Own Omelet from Denny's, you can choose from 19 different ingredients and become your own omelet architect. And starting at just $4.99, well, it may be the most affordable omelet architecture program in the country.
You get out of your vehicle what you put into it. So for services big and small, join the 11 million drivers who turn to us, the Good Wrench experts at their Chevy, Buick, and GMC dealer. Real experts bringing you real value every day. Like these 3 great services for only $39.95 or less. And now, for a limited time, get AC Delco front brake pads installed for only $74.95 or less after mail-in rebate. Good Wrench. Expert care right at your dealer.
Most people like to hear they've done a great job caring for their teeth. That's why there's a rinse like Crest Pro Health Complete. It's a more complete way to a better dental checkup, giving you a clean, healthy mouth. New Crest Pro Health Complete Rinse.
Wake up time, but not for your eyes. They're still so tired looking. With Olay, challenge that with Regenerist Anti-Aging Eye Roller. Its hydrating formula with caffeine conditioning complex perks up the look of eyes. It works in the blink of an eye.
Diabetes testing. What else is new? You get the blood, hope it's enough. What's this?
New and improved Freestyle Light blood glucose test strip.
Sure, I'll try it, but wow.
Yep, that's the patented Freestyle Zipwick design.
It's like it targets the blood.
Yeah, it draws it right in. The test starts fast. You need just a third the blood of one touch.
Okay, Freestyle test strips. I'll take them.
Sure, call or click. We'll send you strips and a meter free.
Can't I just have these?
Freestyle Light test strips. Call or click today.
So many sides to you. I don't know which one that I should pick from. Cause you're so true, not a work of fiction. But you're so cool, like the air condition. Got much shiners in the television. Discover things is hard to find and learn a little bit about yourself. So go on ahead, tell me what you like, and I'ma tell you why you got so many sides.
Discover our brand new side. Explore all of yours and save 15%. That's Sears.
A lot happens early with Julie Chen on The Early Show.
An Albany politician for Attorney General? Eric Schneiderman's been a state senator for 12 years. He was one of the leaders who shut down the Senate for nearly 4 months when they couldn't pass a budget on time, and cut a deal putting Pedro Espada in charge, who's under investigation for tax fraud and money laundering. Kathleen Rice is a prosecutor who's put corrupt public officials in prison, and she'll fight Albany corruption as hard as she fought violent crime. Kathleen Rice for Attorney General.
Just ahead this morning, Inez Science, she's a reporter with a Mexican TV channel. She was in town recently. You see her there interviewing Mark Sanchez from the Jets. Well, apparently a lot else was going on in that locker room during this interview. A lot of cat calls. We'll get the full story
when we come back.
This portion of the early show is sponsored by Rock Skincare. We keep our promises.
Be proud to admit your age.
I'm 43.
Only Rock Retinol Correction Deep Wrinkle Night Cream is clinically proven to give 10 years back to the look of skin, diminishing the look of even deep wrinkles.
10 years? I'll take that.
Rock, we keep our promises.
Any hair shines in the spotlight. Aveeno hair shines in real life. New Aveeno Nourish Plus Shine with Active Naturals Wheat smooths damaged cuticles for 75% more shine in one use. Real shine for real life.
Yours.
New Aveeno Nourish Plus Shine.
One appetizer plus 2 entrees equals Chili's $20 dinner for 2. Share one of 5 appetizers, like our famous Texas cheese fries. Then choose 2 freshly prepared entrees from 14 Chili's favorites, like our chicken crispers with new sweet and smoky sauce, our new slow-smoked honey chipotle baby back ribs, or grilled all-white meat chicken fajitas served over a bed of sizzling peppers and onions. Grab a friend and get 1 appetizer plus 2 entrees with Chili's $20 dinner for 2.
Morning.
Got in pretty late last night.
Dad, I'm not 16 anymore.
Still, it was late.
Well, you're not going to have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, why's that? Todd's a lucky man.
Best part of waking up
That's what I told him when we talked last week.
is Folgers in your cup.
At Purina One, we want your dog to be as healthy as possible. So we set out to discover the science in some of nature's best ingredients. We created Purina One with Smart Blend. New delicious shredded morsels and crunchy bites with real meat, wholesome grains, and antioxidants. For strong muscles, vital energy, a healthy immune system, and a real difference in your dog. Purina One, improved with Smart Blend. Discover what one can do.
With diabetes, it's tough to keep life balanced. I don't always have time to eat like I should. And the more I focus on everything else, the less time I have to take care of me. That's why I like Lucerna shakes. They have slowly digestible carbs to help minimize blood sugar spikes, which can help lower A1C. Lucerna products help me keep everything balanced.
I'm good.
Well, almost everything.
Glucerna, delicious shakes, bars, and cereal, helping people with diabetes find balance.
A lot happens early with Erica Hill on The Early Show.
Hey, did you know that in the race for Attorney General, there's only one Democrat who's actually served as Assistant AG? Only Eric Dinalo. Dinalo's prosecuted corruption and violence, so we know he's not going to back down to Albany or the NRA. And as Spitzer's deputy, it was Dinalo who led the fight to hold Wall Street accountable before it was cool. And only Dinalo took on big insurance and got health care for 400,000 New Yorkers. That's why the Daily News is endorsing Dinalo as the only one with the right experience for the job. For AG, go with Dinalo.
You and your partner split up, but you have children. How do you make sure your kids don't suffer from your separation? Expert advice on co-parenting for former couples. Our special series.
Great day on tap for your Tuesday. It is 7:25, 60 degrees out there. I'm Mary Calvin. In the news, the polls are now open in New York for primary day. Former Long Island Congressman Rick Lazio has the Republican Party's endorsement for governor. He's taking on Carl Palladino, the Buffalo businessman embraced by the Tea Party. Nassau District Attorney Kathleen Rice's biggest opponent in a five-way Democratic race for Attorney General is State Senator Eric Schneiderman. The polls are open until 9 p.m. Complete results tonight at 11 and on CBSNewYork.com. The imam behind plans for an Islamic center near Ground Zero reportedly faces a lawsuit in New Jersey. This morning, Star Ledger says Union City is suing Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf over alleged code violations in two apartment buildings he owns there. An official with the city told the paper he's, quote, a terrible landlord. Complaints are said to include moldy bathrooms and fire code violations. Mets pitcher Francisco Rodriguez is due before a judge later this morning in Queens. K-Rod, as he's called, has a court hearing on the assault and harassment charges he faces after an alleged attack on his girlfriend's father at Citi Field. The Mets say the relief pitcher hurt his right thumb in last month's incident. The injury required surgery and left Rodriguez unable to pitch for the rest of the season. Well, not a raindrop in the sky, John.
No, it's a very pretty morning out there right now. Parts of the area still dealing with some fog. The cooler numbers usually indicative of that. 60 in the city, 52 in Sparta, though. 50 in Edison, 57 in Belmar. Some upper 50s for parts of Long Island. You get a sense of the nice skies we see here in the city, but parts of New Jersey still dealing with the fog. Things have improved, though, for a good part of Long Island and into the lower Hudson Valley and Connecticut as well. The big picture is nice ridge of high pressure builds in. This little front pushes through, but it's starved for moisture, so I don't anticipate major problems. Today's the warmest day of the week, a little cooler Wednesday into Thursday. Mary?
All right, John, thanks so much, and we will be right back with an update on traffic.
This fall, an unforgettable live music event is coming to Broadway and taking you back. Relive the music exactly as it happened at Rain, a tribute to the Beatles on Broadway.
The New York Times says Eric Schneiderman has courage,
a strong voice,
and a deep commitment to ethical government.
The Times endorses Eric for Attorney General for repealing the Rockefeller drug laws.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
The 3 Series exemplifies the essence of BMW. It has the ingredients of the perfect sports sedan.
Everything is balanced, everything works in harmony, everything is perfectly engineered. That's why car and driver staff buy this car more than any other.
Our impressive offer of 0.9% financing or pay nothing down is now extended to all 2011 3 Series models.
Brand new shows, brand new episodes. All next week on CBS 2. Sponsored locally by Alive Multivitamins. Packed with over 20 fruits and vegetables, plus extra B vitamins for energy.
Good morning, I'm Katie McGee. Trouble in Queens as we take you to the map in the Grand Central, where westbound at Roosevelt Avenue, there's an unauthorized tractor trailer. One lane is closed down. To New Jersey and 287 southbound at exit 52 in Riverdale. Watch out for an accident in the right lane. And across the Hudson River, the Lincoln is 25, the Holland 15. GW Bridge is 35, but an earlier accident cleared. Alternate sides in effect citywide today. Mary?
Katie, thanks so much. Coming up on CBS 2 News at noon, federal investigators reveal the cause of last year's deadly mid-air collision over the Hudson River. We're back with another update on news, weather, and traffic in about 25 minutes. I'm Mary Calvey. The Early Show returns in a moment.
It's Ram truck season, and the 60-day handshake lives on.
It's a promise that says go ahead and buy a Ram 1500 without a payment for 60 days. And if it doesn't do everything you ask it to do, bring it back. Ram.
Or instead, get 0% financing for 60 months on select 2010 Ram 1500 models.
Survivor is making its biggest move yet to Wednesdays, and this time it's old.
I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can accomplish something.
Versus young.
We have that competitive drive. We want to show the old people.
In a battle of the ages.
It's the antiques versus the young studs.
We do have strong people and leadership on our tribe.
They got a Super Bowl winning coach on their team. They're going to be able to communicate well. There's a lot to be said for life experience, you know? There's no reason why we should lose to them.
Survivor premieres on its new night, CBS Wednesday.
I told him he tried to kill me and my family. The cops are on their way.
Judge Judy.
Nice crowd out on the plaza today. I find a disproportionate number of people from Louisiana show up here. What is the deal with that?
It's Louisiana and Iowa.
Magnet. Yeah. Welcome back to the early show. Hard to feel sorry for sharks. You know, we do these stories all the time. The guy, the 3
Shark
feet.
attacks.
Exactly right. Day after day after day. But this is what happens to millions of these animals. And we have a very interesting panel of folks here. People who have all been attacked by sharks who are saying, hang on, the sharks are not the bad guys. There's a whole other part of this story they want to tell, and they'll be here this morning to do it.
It's a fascinating story. I love that. Also, we're covering this story getting a lot of attention at the start of the NFL season, being overshadowed in many ways by charges that members of the New York Jets sexually harassed a female reporter in the locker room. We're going to speak with that reporter. Her name is Inez Sáenz. She'll join us in just a moment. First, though, CBS News correspondent Betty Wynn joins us from outside the Jets' new home in East Rutherford, New Jersey, with the latest. Betty, good morning.
Good morning, Erica. Yes, the Jets played the first game in the new stadium last night, but it's actually what happened in the locker room that has people talking.
Sanchez throws for Keller. He's got it.
It was a rough start to the Jets' 2010 football season last night.
Short of the first down, and the game will end there.
As they lost to the Baltimore Ravens 10-9. But that could be the least of their worries.
There have been allegations of inappropriate behavior by some of the Jets players and coaches.
The NFL is investigating the team after a female reporter from Mexico made allegations of sexual harassment. Inez Sáenz, a former Miss Spain and Miss Universe contestant, was on the sidelines during practice last Saturday when Jets players and coaches appeared to throw footballs in her direction. Later, as she waited in the locker room to conduct this interview with quarterback Mark Sanchez, she was reportedly the target of catcalls and rude comments. She tweeted in Spanish, "I'm so uncomfortable. I'm in the Jets locker room waiting for Mark Sanchez and trying not to look around me." And a few moments later, "I want to cover my ears." Women reporting on the sidelines and in locker rooms is nothing new, but this incident is making for embarrassing headlines for both the Jets and the NFL.
It's both personally and professionally discouraging.
CBS Sports' Leslie Visser, a member of the Football Hall of Fame and a pioneering female sports journalist, says there's no room for a boys will be boys attitude.
It's just not relevant here. These are professional athletes, professional reporters, and, we're not in 7th grade anymore.
Sáenz says Jets owner Woody Johnson has apologized and she has accepted, but that doesn't mean the team is out of legal trouble.
If people around her saw it as sexual harassment, then it could be actionable, even though she's not quite clear about whether she wants to file a lawsuit yet.
And the Jets could also face disciplinary action from the NFL. An investigation is underway. Officials will be interviewing both players and coaches today. Erica.
CBS's Betty Wynn at the Meadowlands. Betty, thanks. Inez Sáenz of Mexico's TV Azteca joins us now. Good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
So we've heard a few different accounts. Tell us in your words, what happened that day in the locker room?
Yes, what happened is in the minute I walk into the locker room, I start to hear that everybody's talking about me and making jokes about myself. But in this precisely moment, I decided not to pay attention. I wasn't focused on my interview, so I go direct to the locker room of Mr. Mr. Sanchez, and I wait for him. But I believe that the rest of the media start of hear the different kind of things that I didn't hear. And sometimes in a minute, a colleague come with me and say me, I'm so sorry, it mustn't happen, it's terrible, I feel sorry for you. So I try to calm her and say, don't worry, I can handle this situation. Right. And that's it. And I don't even try to pay attention. I don't even see any...
You just kind of ignored it. It didn't bother you, is what you're saying.
No, I was in focus on my job and try to not pretend not to be feeling bad in this situation.
A locker room is a tough place for anybody, male or female, and a lot of journalists would say, look, you don't want to be in there no matter what, whether you're a male or a female.
Yes.
You've covered sports, though, in the past. Have you ever had a reaction like that before?
Well, actually, yes, I was covering for 9 years, and probably I have similar reactions in a different kind of sports, but never, the vocabulary never so rude. Or something like this. I think that the media that in the locker room, what are really upset is about the vocabulary they used to refer to me. I want to say that I'm not the one who make the charge, because I don't even say, hey, I feel bad for that, not with NFL, not with the team, not anything. The ones that say that something is happened there is the rest of the media.
There has been a little bit of criticism. There's a pretty well-known sports blog called Deadspin.com. They say they spoke with a female reporter who was there for the incident, who covers this on a regular basis, and she had said to them, look, it's really more about respect for, it came across as respect for the team, respect for the sport of football, and sort of knowledge of the game. Do you think any of it had to do with that?
Yes, well, I'm really grateful with her and with all the Association of Women Reporters, Sport Reporters, because they take care very seriously, and I believe that is okay, because you are a woman and you are a professional way. I make everything in a professional way that I needed to do, and not any woman deserves to be treated like this. You must deserve to treat like a professional.
We're just going to look at the picture of, I think we have the pictures of what you were wearing that day. Because people, talking about it, you tweeted saying, hey, this is what I'm wearing, not a big deal. Have you had anybody tell you that was an inappropriate outfit?
Well, actually, no, because I think that each woman wants to be attractive, and I have 9 years making my job. I have more than 250 interviews with the best players in the world for the most important sports. So it's my style for the whole high life, and I never have any trouble like this. So I think that, don't you think that like a woman, that if you dress and feel good and go and be professional all the time, you deserve to be treated like this?
Do you plan to pursue any further action?
No, I really believe in what NFL decide, because they called me the last day on Sunday, and I make a full declaration of the acts, like a witness, and they take very seriously, and I really believe that they find that they need to punish someone, they are going to do it, and they find that it's not necessary. I really trust in what I say.
Good to have you with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, Inez.
Thank you.
Want to get you now a check of the weather. Let's take an early look at what's going on this morning in your area.
Thank you, Erica, and good morning, everybody. A mix of the skies out there right now in the city. It's very pretty. There is still a little bit of fog. Reluctant to leave. It will, though. It's going to mix away, pave the way for a sunny day. 79 your high, nicest day of the week, probably in more ways than one. There is a front that's on the way, but it doesn't have the moisture that we had yesterday, so it's a dry passage. There'll be a few clouds late today into early Wednesday. Then we're cooler Wednesday and Thursday. Next chance for rain is late Thursday into early Friday.
It's with you, please, on your iPad. The Early Show and much more, now available with the new CBS News app. We're going to walk you through it. You're watching The Early Show on CBS and maybe your iPad.
When my doctor told me that my chronic bronchitis was COPD, I started managing it every day. I like to volunteer, hit the courts, and explore new places. I'm breathing better with Spiriva.
Spiriva is the only once-daily inhaled maintenance treatment for both forms of COPD, which includes chronic bronchitis and emphysema.
I take it every day. It keeps my airways open to help me breathe better all day long.
Spiriva does not replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms. Stop taking Spiriva and call your doctor right away if your breathing suddenly worsens, your throat or tongue swells, you get hives, have vision changes or eye pain, or have problems passing urine. Tell your doctor if you have glaucoma, problems passing urine, or an enlarged prostate, as these may worsen with Spiriva. Also discuss the medicines you take, even eye drops. Side effects include dry mouth, constipation, and trouble passing urine.
Now I'm managing my chronic bronchitis every day.
Ask your doctor if once daily Spiriva is right for you.
On Disney, Blu-ray, and DVD.
Give me the dagger!
From the producer of Pirates of the Caribbean, and available at a low price this week. Get Prince of Persia on Disney Blu-ray DVD Combo Pack and save up to $8 at princeofpersiaoffer.com.
With the new Build Your Own Omelet from Denny's, you can choose from 19 different ingredients and become your own omelet architect. And starting at just $4.99, well, it may be the most affordable omelet architecture program in the country.
Over a century ago, Gottlieb Daimler wrote 4 words that were a promise to himself and to the world. A promise to invent the first automobile and to keep reinventing it. To build the type of cars that define true performance while never sacrificing their true beauty. And to introduce innovations that help save lives and the planet. 4 simple words Mercedes-Benz lives by to this day. The best or nothing. That is what drives us.
Oh, hey, honey.
Hey. So, what have you been up to?
Nothing. So, what have you guys been up to?
Nothing.
Survivor makes its biggest move yet to Wednesdays.
We're now going to divide into tribes.
And this time, it's old.
The kids are going to get a wake-up call from the old cats.
Versus young.
There's no reason we can't just mow them all down.
In a battle of the ages.
I was looking forward to some of those young people carrying me.
Survivor premieres on its new night, CBS Wednesday.
About the only things selling faster than iPads right now are the thousands and thousands of applications for the iPad. This morning, CBS News has a brand new app available, and it's free. And technology expert Katie Linendahl has been checking it out. Good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning. And the Apple iPad lets people have the world at their fingertips, as we know, including CBS News. Here's a sneak peek at how the new free CBS News app works. Think of something, anything, and the saying goes, there's an app for that. And now that couldn't be more true with the launch of the iPad's newest app, CBS News. You no longer need a mouse or a TV remote to see CBS News programming. Everything is literally at your fingertips.
White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs
The
said
evening news, politics with Face the Nation,
great minds no longer had to be in close proximity.
murder mysteries on 48 Hours,
Did you kill Lisa Buchanan?
and of course, The Early Show.
All eyes this morning.
Hold the iPad vertically to see videos and pictures. Turn it sideways and use the app more like a newspaper. Sections include most popular news, pictures, and videos.
If you really want to save big,
Want to share helpful tips with friends? Email stories right from the iPad. With weather news and up-to-the-minute market updates, the app lets you search everything from presidents to penguins. We have a couple of iPads on the set, and we are trying out the new CBS News app.
Okay.
Everybody's very excited.
Like them a lot.
And what's
Show
great
us
about
around
it is,
yes.
yeah, there's 25,000 apps just for the iPad alone, so it can be kind of hard to cut through all of the clutter. But what's great about this is it breaks through all of the categories categorically. So if you just want your world news, if you just want politics, if you want science and technology, no problem, right at your fingertips. And I can actually swipe through all of these categories, having access to
Wait,
text
as you're
and
doing
clips.
this, show me. So this says So I see this bar here that says news categories, but how do I know that each bar here, how do I know what it is? Oh, I just
No, you're okay. See, it's
something.
super easy. You're using it even you don't.
It's very sensitive to the touch. So how do I know that this line is one thing, this line is another?
Yeah, so as you see, the categories are broken down. So science and technology.
I didn't see it there. It's
yep,
tiny.
it's right
Okay.
here in the bar. So if I want to swipe down, I can go to health.
Yep.
And then even if I just want some entertainment, everything is broken right down. What's also cool too is little extra
If we
features.
hold this, we might be able to see it a little bit
We have
better.
weather at the touch of your button.
Like that.
I think Dave Price was consulted on that.
Oh, boy.
Dave's actually going to be in the weather. But we also have stocks at the touch of a button, and also we can get it down to shows categorically as well.
So you can look at CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, the early show, perhaps the Saturday Evening News with Jeff Glor. But you could also, this is something I thought was really cool, you can actually save stuff to the iPad to watch later if you're in a place where you don't have Wi-Fi.
Exactly. What's awesome about this app is it also has offline capabilities. So you know what? Say you're not connected later, you can actually save articles for later and then access them. So I have a whole pool of articles that I want to check out later, including a man that punched a shark in the face, which I think is very important.
Oh, I talked to him.
That's very interesting. So I can go ahead and read that later, even if I'm not connected via a Wi-Fi signal. I just want to show you on my iPad too how awesome it is because, as I mentioned, you can break down the shows categorically. So there we have the early show. I just click on the early show, and then all of the clips will pop up for the early show, which is really nice. And then I use that little swipe feature, and all of the news and clips are right at your fingertips. Also, what's cool, just really quickly, if I want to change that orientation, all I do is flip the screen, and it becomes more like a newspaper.
Love that.
We like it a lot. Katie, as always, thank you very much. And to get the CBS News app, all you need to do is go to our website, earlyshow.cbsnews.com.
Can I borrow that?
It's free.
Yes.
It is.
It's free.
Yeah.
Can I borrow it?
free.
Can I borrow it forever?
Be right back. You're watching The Early Show on CBS.
Can we get the iPad for free? No.
Even my pizza place stores my information digitally. So why do I have to fill out the same medical forms over and over?
Technology can tell me exactly where I am, but when it comes to my health care, why do I feel so lost?
We understand your frustration. At United Healthcare, we believe it should be simpler and more responsive. We're 78,000 people looking out for 70 million Americans. Big numbers, but they're what give us the data and the experience to match you with the right doctor for your tricky condition, to guide and stand by you through your toughest medical decisions, to help you manage a chronic condition more on your terms. Because in the end, all our innovations, the technology, the numbers, all add up to one thing: treating you like a human being. That's health in numbers. United Healthcare. To learn more, visit us at healthinnumbers.com.
Diabetes testing. What else is new? You get the blood, hope it's enough. What's this?
New and improved Freestyle Light blood glucose test strip.
Sure, I'll try it, but wow.
Yep, that's the patented Freestyle Zipwick design.
It's like it targets the blood.
Yeah, draws it right in. The test starts fast. You need just a third the blood of one touch.
Okay, Freestyle test strips. I'll take them.
Sure, call or click. We'll send you strips and a meter free.
Can't I just have these?
Freestyle Light test strips. Call or click today.
Words alone aren't enough. My job is to listen to the needs and frustrations of the shrimpers and fishermen, hotel and restaurant workers who lost their jobs to the spill. I'm Iris Cross. BP has taken full responsibility for the cleanup in the Gulf, and that includes keeping you informed. Our job is to listen and find ways to help. That means working with communities, restoring the jobs, tourist beaches, and businesses impacted by the spill. We've paid over $400 million in claims and set up a $20 billion independently run claims fund to cover lost income until people impacted can get back to work. And our efforts aren't coming at taxpayer expense. I know people are wondering, now that the well is capped, is BP gonna meet its commitments? I was born in New Orleans. My family still lives here. I'm gonna be here until we make this right.
Introducing new Townhouse Flatbread Crisps. They're oven-baked flatbread crisps with the tastes of sea salt and olive oil. We're sprinkled with Italian herbs. Townhouse Flatbread Crisps. They're perfect for snack time, party time, anytime. New Townhouse Flatbread Crisps. The everyday cracker with a specially crafted taste.
We have some breaking news to bring you right now. The Associated Press is reporting that Iranian TV reporting Sarah Short has in fact been released. She, one of the 3 hikers, who of course has been imprisoned in Iran for more than a year now. We had heard she'd be released on Saturday. There was a lot of back and forth. Then there was a demand for $500,000 bail. The family, most recently, her family had said, look, we can't come up with this money. Can we work something else out? And then this news coming out just now.
It's very interesting. Her mother said the other day she was very concerned about her daughter's health, about Sarah's health, because of genetics and precancerous conditions and just the stress of all of this and what impact it might be having on her health. So these 3 women have been guests here in the studio many times over the last year. They have worked so diligently and so hard in such frustrating conditions to try and get these kids released.
And of course, there was the technical issue of the fact that there can't be a direct money transfer to the Iranian government because of
U.S.
sanctions.
Right. Exactly.
So clearly they had to work around that as well.
More on that story in just a little bit. We'll be right back. You're watching The Early Show on CBS.
McCormick invites antioxidants to breakfast. McCormick Cinnamon is a concentrated source of natural antioxidants. Sprinkle 1/4 teaspoon onto oatmeal for a delicious, wholesome breakfast.
Critics are wild about Alpha and Omega. It's charming, thrilling, and hilarious.
Quick, look behind you!
It will win your heart.
You know, we make a pretty good team.
Alpha and Omega 3D. Rated PG in 3D and 2D theaters Friday.
Your precious eyes. When allergies make them itch, don't wait for your pills to kick in. Choose Aloe from the eye health experts at Bausch & Lomb. It works in minutes and up to 12 hours. Bausch & Lomb Aloe. Because it's not just your allergies, it's your eyes. Sometimes life can be, well, a little uncomfortable. But when it's hard or hurts to go to the bathroom, there's Dulcolax Stool Softener. Dulcolax Stool Softener doesn't make you go, it just makes it easier to go. Dulcolax Stool Softener. Make yourself comfortable.
A lot happens early with Dave Price on The Early Show.
Want to sleep a whole lot better for a whole lot less? Hurry into Sleepy's for their multi-million-dollar mattress sale. It's the biggest clearance event in Sleepy's history. Sleepy's is clearing out millions of dollars worth of mattresses to make room for new merchandise. You'll get discontinued models, floor samples, name brands, plus day beds, platform beds, and headboards, all at 50 to 80% off the regular price. Plus, save hundreds of dollars on a huge selection of name brand mattresses during Sleepy's multi-million-dollar mattress sale. Going on now.
Hey, let me see that map for a second.
Just drive, we'll get there.
Adventure runs on Dunkin' with our lineup of oven-toasted breakfast sandwiches. From egg white flatbreads to bagel sandwiches, grab your favorite just the way you like it. America runs on Dunkin'. Hurry into Dunkin' Donuts for a delicious veggie or turkey sausage egg white sandwich.
Peace, pride, victories. For nearly 70 years, we've had a lot to cheer about, and the celebration is just getting started. Introducing the 2011 Jeep Wrangler and the all-new 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee, both with legendary Jeep 4x4 capability and Wrangler with a redesigned interior. Our entire line of Jeep vehicles is a definite cause for celebration. Well-qualified lessees can get a 2011 Grand Cherokee for $399 a month or purchase and get 1.9% APR.
An Albany politician for Attorney General? Eric Schneiderman's been a state senator for 12 years. He was one of the leaders who shut down the Senate for nearly 4 months when they couldn't pass a budget on time, and cut a deal putting Pedro Espada in charge, who's under investigation for tax fraud and money laundering. Kathleen Rice is a prosecutor who's put corrupt public officials in prison, and she'll fight Albany corruption as hard as she fought violent crime. Kathleen Rice for Attorney General.
So if you've been attacked by a shark, seriously injured, what would sort of be your long-term reaction to that animal be?
To probably stay far away from it.
Well, as it turns out, it's very interesting. There's a whole bunch of people who have been attacked who are getting together and saying, we're not the victims here. It's the sharks that need protection. We're going to tell you that story in a dramatic fashion in our next hour, so stay tuned.